Okay, so I'm here with my teacher Alex Kozma to talk to him about his book, Qing Era Taijiquan, The Spiral Boxing of Marpa Chen. So the book looks like this. You can get it from Line of Intent. Okay, and although it's quite a small book, I will say it's packed with loads of really interesting information with Tai Chi. So if you're into Tai Chi, definitely have a look. What I wanted you to talk about, if possible, is our style of Tai Chi is quite different from a lot of the other styles out there, and wondering whether you could talk about what makes it different from the other styles.
Okay, first of all, Grandmaster Leo Pong, who was born around 1870 and lived into his 90s. When he was a child, there were various marks on his body that were discovered by a wandering Daoist, and they decided it was his destiny to study in the Qing imperial palace. So he became an apprentice in the geomancy school, basically learning geomancy, feng shui, divination, astrology, all these things that the emperors would use to run the kingdom and ensure their offspring were conceived on the right days, all these kind of things. But Leo Pong also learned Taijiquan and Baguaquan in the palace at that time. And the Taijiquan he learned was what we would call now probably a form of Wu style Taijiquan. Mm-hmm. As far as I know, he's the only person who studied in the palace that we have video of. There's some video online of Grandmaster Leo Pong doing his Taijiquan form. He looked super relaxed and happy. He was at his birthday party apparently and had a little bit of Daoist wine. But you can still see his presence, his way of moving is quite exceptional. So what makes this particular Taijiquan different? It's recognizably Taijiquan, like any Taijiquan. I'd say technically the first big thing is that we have a first movement is called Bing. Bing, as you know, most Taijiquan, Wu and Yang style, they will start from what they call Pang. So Pang is like not just the meaning of expansion, but Pang is the first movement. Some people do it like this, some people like this, but generally it's in the front of the body or moving across. The way we do Bing is like we're waving a flag at a oblique angle across the body. So as you know, the application is very different. That's the first technical thing. And I'd say the other thing is the emphasis on very deep training of the mind. It's not like the way I learned it, the way I teach you. We don't really talk about Qi very much. We talk about it for the medicine, for the acupuncture, and also for some of the Qigong, the medical Qigong. For the fighting side, we talk about 8 primary skills or forces. So Bing, Lu, Jian, Sai, Lie, Kao, Zhou. Okay, Bing is related to fire. So it's a very yang, you could say aggressive force. You know, when you feel the Bing, even if it looks like the person's not moving very much, it's overwhelming. It's like being burnt with something that just lifts you up. Lu is water, related to water, extremely soft, and is connected with the skill of listening, adhering, following, like many Taijiquan. So these are 2 very important skills in Taijiquan, meaning that if I can give you a force to overcome your center, right, and that force, somehow you're too strong, then I just let this, through listening, I let your force come back towards me and I lead it around my center. So it's water, like a whirlpool. So these 2 forces we train for years, solo and also with a partner fighting. One other big thing is we don't do what a lot of modern Taijiquan people do, fixed step pushing hands, where if I push you a little and you lose your balance, I've won. We don't do that. From the beginning, when I practiced with Marpa Chen, every day, from the very first day, it was freestyle. So as you know, we freestyle. You can do anything. You can slap, strike, lock, kick, sweep, grasp, anything you want, you can do. Of course, there are boundaries. In the beginning, you start slowly. With him, he just You know, it was like free fighting from day one. But you learn slowly. You learn how not to be slapped, how not to be knocked out, how not to be your muscles feel like they're being torn off your chest. So at Binglu Ji, and so Ji is the force of crushing, like you're crushing somebody's inside by a triangulation force. Binglu Ji, and is the ability to take somebody's force. It's not really pushing, it's take them down. And then we have Cai Lia Cao Zhou, so the ability to pluck, tear, separate the joints, break the joints, Cao Zhou, and bumping and elbow. Together, these 8 forces make a very practical, comprehensive fighting system.
So 9 circles.
Yeah, one of the other things in our particular tradition that is, as far as I've seen, is quite unique, is the 9 circles set. And this is basically you could say a Neigong set that you can use for keeping the body very healthy. So even when you're 70, 80, all your joints should be very flexible, supple. But also it's used in the boxing so that all of the movements have spiral force. They're not just pivot, you know, or like a hinge, or like a circle, or like turning. It's really spiraling. That's why I call the book The Spiral Boxing of Marpa Chen. Although he didn't call it spiral boxing, he was always talking about 9 circles. And this is obviously it's linked with Daoist theory and thinking. So Grandmaster Leo Pong, after he left the palace where he studied geomancy, martial arts, Taijiquan, Baguaquan, he went to Kunlun Mountain and he studied with 3 immortals for many years. One of these immortals was the founder of Taijiquan, Chang Sangfang. And then he was told by the immortals, you have to go to the world and help the world. So he went to Taiwan with the Kuomintang. He became the president's advisor for geomancy, you know, foreseeing earthquakes and weather patterns and things like this. And he also opened up 2 temples just outside of Taipei, which are the Kunlun Immortal Sect temples. And they teach the whole range of Taoism, including Taijiquan, 9 circles, obviously all of the meditation practices. So it's a very complete system. There's a lot of medical side of it, how it affects your health, especially the emotional health, the psychology. But for my teacher, Marpa Chen, he combined Tibetan Buddhist, you could say psychotherapeutic practices, spiritual practices, with the Daoist practice. So what he teaches is Liu Peichong's Taijiquan, plus his profound understanding of Chinese medicine and Tibetan Buddhism. So it has a quite unique flavor, you could say.